Hello, welcome back. Yes, I have returned. Season 4 of What Up by Hektek by yours truly, me. What have I been doing since the long break? Well, I built those terrariums that I said I was going to build. I've been taking a little time off to revamp and rebuild and look at some stuff a little differently and see, what I want to do with my life. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I'm excited to show y'all what I have going on. I'll tell y'all a little bit more about that as we go along. I was hit up by this young lady, and she she emailed me and she says, I want to tell my story. And I was like, bet that's what we're here for. So we can allow everyone to tell their story and tell it to the best of their abilities. So without further ado, I will go ahead and introduce her.
Hello there. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Go ahead and introduce to the people who you are and what you have going on.
Okay, my name is Anna Andrews. You can see it like right there. I am a adult film star. Have been so for about 7 years now. Um, I also happen to be trans. Just to put that out there. Um, I've gotten about it's working on like 11 award nominations so far. I've won once, and
Okay.
the latest thing I have going is that I'm one of the first Fleshlight Pro models that happens to be trans. So, yeah.
Oh, kudos. Um, so do you have on your bio multi-nominated, award-winning, or do you just say, "Hey, I won this one award"?
I count the nominations because um, the award shows a lot of people say that they're rigged. A lot of people say that they have favoritism, and the awards I usually get nominated for, I like to think that I won them by my own accord and of my own merit, but I want to count each time a award nomination happens is because the fans wanted it. I don't know what they do in the back. I don't know what they do behind the scenes, but the demand was there to put me on that stage in the first place. So I count those. Those are wins. That's what the
Okay,
fans gave me.
okay, yeah. So can you tell the difference between some of the nominations and fan nominations? Can you tell to the audience the difference in those two?
It's that fan nominations are they usually vary, but also they can go beyond the length of a performer's career. There
Hmm.
are people that won or were nominated for AVNs this past year that haven't been in the industry for like 2 and 3 years.
Hmm.
They've been retired and haven't really had an impact, but they still have an impact with the fans. Um, I have a theory that about you have about a good 5 years after your career ends, after you say, I'm not doing this anymore, I have a family now, whatever, where you're still going to come up in PMVs, you're still going to come up in Hypno, you're still going to come up in because we have a product that is pirated heavily. We have a market that a lot of people use their creativity and they make videos and clips and mashups and compilations and everything else, and that takes a little bit longer to filter down. Your stuff doesn't disappear off the internet the day that you quit. So,
No, man, we are getting into murky waters because there's some people that feel like once their career is done actively, that they should be able to go back to the people that have paid them to tell them to take their stuff off of their sites. Um, how do you
hmm,
feel about that?
I'm of two minds of it because again, it is your image, it's your body, it's your image. You did sell it to them at the time, but again, this is a capitalistic job, which means that people go into it for different reasons.
Mhm.
And you may You may have done this out of desperation. It may have just been a, hey, this isn't my passion, this isn't what I want to do, but it's what I need to do to feed my kids, or feed myself, or pay my bills, or anything else. And sometimes it's just, I don't want this to be a forever stain on my career. I don't want this to ruin my prospects, especially with the average length of a performer's lifespan is really about, for cis performers, about 5 months. Like Mia Khalifa, for as much as we
Cis
know her
females
now,
or males?
I'm saying for cis females, that's what I
Okay.
know.
Okay.
About 5 months. They'll do a whole bunch of scenes. They'll do a bunch of scenes, and then they've made their money. They've gotten out of their hardship. They decided that they don't like the industry or the scene or whatever, or the people they're around, and they quit.
Hmm.
More power to them if they can quit. More power to them if they decide to do something else. It's agency. But oh god, I almost lost my train of thought there. But yeah, it's that to have your entire life be essentially irrevocably changed for 5 months of it is asking a lot. It is asking a lot of people. Um, and which is why I think we have such a strong pushback from performers that step out of the industry or find more opposition to it now. Because again, like you're seeing 5 months of your life being all you're known for, all your that's your entire worth, that's your entire value, and I don't feel like that's fair. That's not a good assessment of anything.
Nah, correct. All right, so we're about to. I could tell by this conversation we're going to get into some very, very in depth stuff. So stay tuned. We're gonna get it popping.
It's whatever, baby. You know, it's whatever, baby. You know, it's whatever.
All right. So who is Anna Andrews in your own words?
Okay,
Oh,
Anna Andrews.
she got ready for this one.
Anna Andrews in my own words. Got it. Haven't ever been asked this question. Good job on you. Caught me on my toes there. But it's my alter ego. It is the more outgoing version of myself. It is the, because I'm going to be honest with you. I pre-transition, before all of this, before Anna Andrews was a twinkle in the back of my brain, I was a nerd. I am a nerd still. Debatable. I'm a
I mean,
geek.
look at my walls.
If I could show you the rest of my room, I would. But I have a Hulk poster. I have references to Rocko's Modern Life, the Joker. I have books. I have pen and paper RPGs. I also have a fuck ton of sex toys I can't show.
Yeah.
Um, but I am a geek. I am a nerd, and for a long time before I got into the industry, I worked in the industry as a adult bookstore clerk,
Okay.
and I was the reason why I know so much about porn is because I've been in it much longer than I actually have been in it. Um,
Hmm.
we're talking about 10, 15 years of experience with the industry, distribution, DVD sales, all of that stuff. So I know a lot more than a lot of other performers may do if they get into it like for a month or they just try and get into it. Um, and it was something I always wanted to do, and I wanted to see if I could pull it off. And my first scene was rough. Oh my god, it was awful. I'm surprised I got a call back, but it was 2019 to 2020, so they were in a rough spot. So I'm glad I got that leniency.
Yeah. So what was
But
that scene?
oh god, you're gonna make people look at it. Okay. Um, it's on the scene. It's on the site Femout,
Okay.
femout.com. It is my old performer name, which was Raven Mystique, and it was I was wearing this at the time. It was the only dress I had that I thought was fancy to my name. It was
Hmm.
this Hot Topic Wednesday Addams style dress. My shoes were awful. My toes were messed up because I did my toenails and then immediately put my shoes on because I had to leave. My nails were bad, and the director did not say anything about my wig being pushed back. They did not.
Okay.
They said nothing about it.
Okay.
So please do not look at this scene.
Okay. So that's why it was bad, was because aesthetically you didn't feel like you put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and my name was like something that I created. Like the reason why I changed it to Anna Andrews because I actually put thought into Anna Andrews. Again, I'm a comic book nerd. I liked the first name and the last name having the same letters, like Lois Lane, Lena
Mhm.
Lang.
Right.
The first time actually was another comic book reference. It was Raven Mystique Ravenholm for the character in X-Men. But that was
Mhm.
something that came to my head as I was signing the paperwork, you know?
Gotcha. So then you had to stick with it until you did it.
Yeah.
Okay. What did self-confidence look like for you before the spotlight?
Oh God. To be quite honest, um, my porn persona and my personal growth are strangely interlinked because while I don't suggest it to anyone, my transition and the time in which I started the adult film industry were very, very close. And I don't suggest that to anyone personally. If you can, give yourself time to build an identity outside of clicks and likes and views and retweets. Um, but
Say that again. Say that, because I don't think people that's not part of the industry just don't. It looks glamorous, but they don't understand how much pressure that can be put onto us being in the industry to try to always get that. I would say almost a fix in a way. So
it
go ahead
is
and say
it's a
that
hit of
again to people.
dopamine. It's that
Right.
and this goes across the board, trans, cis, whatever. Make sure that your sense of self and your confidence and your self worth are able to withstand the dopamine feedback loop of basing your self worth on clicks and views and engagements and all those things because everyone getting to the industry thinks that they're going to be the next Jenna Jameson or the next Dredd or the next Mr. Marcus or the next whoever, whatever porn star in their head that they idolize or they glamorize, they think that they can do it just as good as them. And the reality is that you enter a deep ocean of performers that you never knew existed before that are more established than you, have better PR than you, have a team behind them. And at the time, most of us starting, we're just some girl or some dude with a camera phone filming in our house. Our next big thing is getting a studio scene, and we don't know how that studio scene is going to go. We don't know if it's going to go well. We don't know if they're going to do it on like Christmas Day or whatever, and it doesn't get any views, it doesn't get any engagement. You can post that fire nude that like your boyfriend or girlfriend loved, and then it gets
Mhm.
2 likes,
Mhm.
and that's hard because it's your body, it's yourself. You're putting yourself out there more so than most people do. You're now a public persona, and you don't have any motion, as it were.
Yeah. No, and I totally understand this. Also, being a bigger size guy, I don't have the 6-pack abs, and I'm not chiseled and all that. And when I stepped onto the scene, I stepped into it with my identity already. I wanted to kind of get away from the porn norm, if you could say,
Mm-hmm.
and make a lane, which I have. I've had many people say, hey, because of you, I've decided to do this. Because of you, I've done, X, Y, and Z. So I wholeheartedly understand that. And sometimes those clicks, those views, those likes, those, oh my God, you're so da da da, da whatever online is also giving us a false narrative as well, because we're thinking we're hitting all everything that we're supposed to be hitting, and then we go look at our bank statements. There's no more deposits going into those as far as the clicks and the likes and being viral and all that. There's
Yeah,
no more O's being added into this bank account, you know.
like
So it's a slippery slope.
yeah, like I will be honest with you, I have not quit my day job since I started. I still have a 9 to 5. I do scenes and award shows, and then have to balance my PTO for the rest of the year.
Mhm. Speak to that, because that's another narrative. I feel like a lot of people in the industry now, there are full-time people.
Yeah.
All those full-time people making tons of money, some are,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot are not, right?
Yeah.
um the majority of the industry, one way or another, has another gig. I
Mm-hmm.
think we have so much of this influx into this industry because we have all these people running the podcast and radio stations and television shows and saying, I made $1 million off of OnlyFans and I've done this and I've done that. And they're not even telling the people the truth on a lot of the situations, and also not saying, hey, I am the outlier. This is not normal. This is not everyone. If everyone in porn made millions of dollars, everyone would pull up in Bentleys and Lambos and Rolls Royces and shit like that. No, it's not. Everyone's not doing that. You know what I mean? So how have being into the industry show you, okay, I see all this glitz and glamour, but when you pull the curtains back, you see the reality. How has that been for you as you've, navigated?
It's one of the benefits, I think one of the greatest things I've had that's added to the longevity of my career is that I didn't get into this at like age 21. I didn't get into this at like age 18. I got into porn in my 30s. Um, so I had a little bit more even keel and measured response. I didn't like get a scene and then move to Vegas or LA. Um, because that's another thing that like the reason why a lot of these people only last like 4 or 5 months is that they get a scene and they make a whole bunch of money. Especially cis female performers, they can make a lot of money in a scene. Like we're talking upwards to like 1 or 2K. And for 8 hours of work, that's amazing to most people, especially like if you're struggling. 2K for like 8 hours of work when it usually would take what, 2 paychecks to get
2
that?
weeks? Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Like if you're making minimum wage flipping burgers, like that's a lot of money in pocket right now.
Hmm.
So they get a couple scenes, they're that new hot thing for right now, and then they make the move to the San Fernando Valley or they make the move to Vegas. And those places aren't cheap in relativity to the rest of the country. And while they're popping and while they're new and all the studios want them, they're pulling in scenes. And then they have to compete with the big hitters in the industry. They have to compete with the vested veterans in the industry, and they're the ones that have a following that the
Hmm.
studios know are going to give them a return on their investment.
Hmm.
And so you get booked less. And then that bill runs due. And then that rent looks a little high. And man, groceries are expensive out here. And then you go back home with whatever savings you have. And you're like, you know what? I don't know if that was the best idea.
Hmm. I have people hit me up all the time, and be like, I'm moving to Vegas. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, I'm going to get so much work once I go out there. And I'm like, will you though? Because there's 1,000 other people that had the same idea that you had that ran out there as well. And they're not doing too hot, you know?
Mhm.
One of my favorite comedians, he lives in Houston. And he says, even though he's making the money he's making now, he will never leave home. And he's like, yeah, could I move to LA? Could I move to New York where they have a big comedy centric, vibe? 100%. But I'll be leaving home to chase this imaginary dream
Mhm.
and leaving everything that I know and that I hold dear to chase this dream in another area that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And people go out there and let's not forget Miami. Miami's another big one that people run off and, go down to. And I've been to those places. The only one out of those lists that used to be cheap was Vegas, but it's not cheap no more because they realize everyone's moving there for those reasons.
Yeah.
So of course everything's going up. Um, what assumption does people tend to make about you before you even speak?
Um, People tend to think that I'm dumb for some reason because I'm in porn and this must be a terrible decision, and I must have my entire personality be boiled down to just sex.
Hmm.
It must be boiled down to my body. It must be boiled down to my aesthetic. I must think about nothing but makeup, and I don't know what I can say on here. So and
You can say
body
whatever.
parts. Oh yeah, like the title. Whatever. But yeah, it's that people just think I'm thinking about ass and dick and tits all the time. But no. I have hobbies, I have interests, I roller skate, I do photography, I am learning to edit my own things, I play music, I have an unhealthy obsession with rhythm games. But yeah, I'm a multifaceted person, just like everyone else is. Is that I don't think that the person that works at the gas station is only the person who works at the gas station. That's all they have about them. No, they have a
Right,
life,
right.
they have family, they have relationship, they have tons of stuff. And also, they assume that I'm never going to find happiness or a partner because I'm in porn, even though I've been married to one of my partners for oh god, almost 4 years now.
Congrats.
Yeah, I met her on set, mind you.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been very happy.
That's good. That's good. So what was the climate being a trans performer when you first got into the industry? Like how was navigating that when you
Um,
first got in?
Honestly, looking at it now, those were the halcyon days because the populace in general hadn't been told to be mad about us yet.
Okay.
Um, it was this niche that was making a lot of money, and you could get scenes and everything else, and like you were on Twitter, but there weren't like people who joined last month just to scream about trans people on Twitter every day. There were maybe
Mhm.
like one or two wingnuts that did it, and that was about it. But now there are people that's their entire personality. If they're not a bot farm, they don't have a life. Honestly, they're posting too often and too frequently and too one note to be about anything
Right,
else.
right. Right. Okay.
Um,
And now how is it like for you for trans performers as a whole?
there is
Or you can
still
speak
a
generalized.
it's that there is still a lot of opportunity there. There are some really big performers. I've been blessed to work with a few of them.
Mhm.
Because despite everything, most people here on the show that watch it don't know who I am. Despite the winnings, despite everything else, despite the longevity and the interviews and everything else I've had, there's so many of us that it's very hard to track one big star, and I've never been in the top 10 of anybody's list. So,
No, man, I've heard it best from all winners in different genres in this industry, and a lot of the consensus has been like, man, I regret winning this award. Like, because I think when you it's not like the Grammys or the Oscars. When you win a Grammy or Oscars, that seems to like catapult you even more, into the
mhm.
spotlight. Winning a porn or a fetish award is just like kudos to you type deal. And that's how I feel now. Especially with such the influx of people just putting in their bio, I'm such and such nominated, I'm this and this, and I'm this and this. And it's like, that's cool, but it, especially if I know a person has not dug in and worked, because we have those people that will come out every award time. We see them all the time. The other time of the year, they're off, whatever. When it's award time, they're like, I am this. I am, whatever
Mhm.
category they're trying to win. And you're like, but you haven't shot in like 2 years, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. It's become a lot. In my, especially AVN, which I used to love going to AVN. It's become so watered down now that it's like it's whatever.
It's a I can't speak on AVN because I actually haven't been. I've always focused on
Oh,
the T's, the Transgender Erotica
okay.
Awards. It's coming up
Hmm.
in about a month. I've got my bag packed. I've already paid for my ticket, so I hope I get the PTO for it. But but I haven't seen that, so I've heard mixed things. Like a couple,
Hmm.
I think it was 2 years ago, they had a kind of a controversy because they put the BBW and trans models at the very end of the show, of the award show, and then they just kind of rush everybody out and rush through those names. And we have
Hmm.
like two or three categories anyway. They kind of rush us together.
Hmm.
Um, so it didn't feel like we were representative of how big of a market share that we have. Like
Okay.
we're in Pornhub searches and all these other searches, we're one of the most talked about topics. We're one of the most searched topics, especially in red states. Um, somebody's lying, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So when you do your scenes, are you more with males? Are you more with females, or it doesn't matter?
I'm personally pan. My group of partners is not really something I super care about. I'm trying to get more scenes with dudes because I don't want people to think I'm just a huge lesbian. I am sapphic,
Yeah, yeah.
but I like dick too. On guys even.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So
um
you're fluid, but I'm talking about scenes specifically. Who do you tend to shoot more or get booked for more scenes with?
I get booked for a lot of solo scenes, number one.
Okay.
Um Second in that I do a lot of girl scenes, a lot of trans girl scenes. I've done one, just one with a cis female. Not that I'm opposed to it, just it's the only time it's ever happened.
Okay.
Um, I don't mind working with men. Quite the contrary, actually. It just rarely happens.
Mhm.
Um, and I wish it would happen more. I did an amazing scene with Kenny Cumshot, like, oh God, what was that? Almost a year ago now. And it's was a great scene. It was an amazing scene. I don't really have preferences towards men or women, cis or trans. I don't even really have racial preferences, even though I really would like to work with more black performers. That's the one thing I
Okay.
wish I did more of.
It's although we're in Black History Month. It's very hard a lot of times. And I don't feel like it should be, but it is for many, many, many different reasons that it just take too long to really dive into. But it's unfortunate that as many black performers as we have in the industry, we're not a force that we should be, if that makes sense.
More so than it should, because I remember the West Coast production days. I remember the TT Boys days. I remember the
Right.
Afrocentric days, the height of the
Right.
DVD era,
Yeah.
where we had our own studios. We made our own
Mm-hmm.
productions. Our breeding
Mm-hmm.
standard was different because we're different people. And now
Mm-hmm.
the aesthetic has to be lined up with white people. We're being
Mm-hmm.
compared to white people. Even though our features are different, even though our bodies are different, even though what we like and find attractive are different,
Mm-hmm.
we're slammed into the same industry in the same bubble and forced to fight for views and clicks and eyes.
Mm-hmm.
There
I
are
remember. Go ahead.
there are performers in Atlanta that, if given the platform, would be huge stars and are huge stars in their own right, but they're never going to get that mainstream coverage because they're independent,
Yeah.
because they're indie.
I remember. I think it was Vice magazines. I got interviewed. This was when during COVID, the big outrage on BBC and what black creators should be called and da da da. And I remember the news reporter or the interviewee asked me how do I feel about the term BBC, and I remember saying, if you take that out, how would you find me? And they were like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you take that out, now I'm competing against all the white men in the industry or the Latin men in the industry. You're now, in a sense, almost taking a lane away from me that kind of, in a sense, gave us a little bit of a leg up. Now we're just being piled into just one just glob. And a lot of black performers, a lot of black males would just be lost in the sauce because no one would like what else term would to put in for us. And they're like, well, that makes sense, and they go on. And I also said too, a lot of the outrage wasn't coming from black performers. It was coming from people feeling they needed to stick up for us and champion. And I was like, but y'all never asked anybody. Y'all just took this flag and just ran with it.
Okay, I don't know if you know my history, but I've been a very stalwart anti-race play warrior on Twitter, in the
Mhm.
industry in general. I've talked about it before in other podcasts, other interviews. Um, and the thing is that I get that viewpoint, and I also found out about the history, which is why I've softened my stance a little bit
Mhm.
on the
Mhm.
subject, because I got to talk to Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels was the one who coined the term
Mhm.
BBC. He's been in the industry since '95. He's still in it. He's a great guy, um, and it was just that. It was a way to differentiate himself in an industry that really undervalues us. Like, the
Mhm.
normies won't know, but like, um, we don't get a choice of partners really when it comes to who we work with. Black people in general don't get the interracial fee that a lot of white performers get when it comes to breaking that taboo.
Mhm.
Um, and we're expected to want to do interracial scenes. It may be all the work
Mhm.
we get. We may have to work with white men, Asian men, Latin men, but they don't have to work with us.
Correct.
Um, we have to fight very, very hard to get any sort of market share or even equal pay in an industry that desires us.
Mhm.
And even now, with BBC and race play being as big a thing as they are, to the point where I would say they've changed our political landscape in this country, we're still underpaid.
Mm. No, 100%.
Um,
100%. And they were We'll take a break. We'll take a break. We come back.
Okay. I'm ready for this one. I'm ready for
Yeah,
this one.
we'll take a break and come back. All right. So
All
stay
right.
tuned.
Are you the smartest dummy or the most dense genius in your friend group? Yeah, us too. That's why you'll fit right in with the Enlightened Idiot podcast, live every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. We're talking bold takes on sex, mental health, current events, and all the stuff you forget you care about until somebody says it out loud. So slide through, kick back, and get your dose of real talk and reckless wisdom. Stay enlightened.
All right. So for y'all that don't know, I am also part of another podcast called The Enlightened Idiots. We've been diving into gender wars, I would say that. Not necessarily in the traditional sense, but explaining the difference in the genders that we normally have, whether it be, i.e., relationships, how we think, how we move, how we walk. So tune in every Saturday night at 10 Eastern. Yeah, 10 Eastern. And it's a good time. I'm normally up there acting a fool, so I'm more reserved here. On that show, I'm acting the donkey. I'm not even gonna hold you. So, so go and tune into that with all my great people. We got comedians, we got rappers, we have a very great team of people on that panel. So go check that out. So we started talking about race in the industry. What do you think is going to take? What will have to happen in order for all those things that we dislike about the industry, lacking pay, they only fuck with us because they know that's going to be their big sellers. They use us as props. What do you feel is going to have to happen in order for that to change and us to be, like you said, how we were in the early 2000s? I mean, in the early 2000s, everyone knew who Pinky was, everyone knew who Cherokee was, everyone knew Jada Fire, Vanessa
I would
Blue. What do you think is going to have to change to get back to that?
I would say that we knew who Pinky was. We knew who Vanessa Blue was. We knew us as black people because
You
it
don't
was
think the white people knew? I think they knew. I'm telling you, from white people that I've been across, like I've been around a lot of different whites. They knew who they were.
you have a white friend. Okay.
I, but no, not
All
even
right.
them. I'm talking about in general. I knew a lot of white people that, yeah, they knew who they were. They probably weren't fans of theirs, but they knew of them at least.
Yeah. But I mean, like that DVD era did produce
Mhm.
stars because it was a
Mhm.
completely different landscape. You didn't have
Mhm.
social media. You didn't have to watch what that person tweeted. They couldn't get canceled. They did their scene. You saw them on their scene. You saw them on their red carpet, and that was it. You didn't know what they did. You didn't
Mhm.
know what they thought about. You didn't know what they had for breakfast. You didn't know if they had cats at home. Like it was a star industry.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, Cherokee the Ass, Pinky, um, hell, even Jada Fire around that time, Cinnamon Love, Vanessa Del Rio. Those were names because that's what we had. Porn was something that you bought into. It was a luxury item, and you went in knowing what you were getting. You couldn't go on Twitter and get porn for free. You couldn't go on a tube site and watch a mashup of 90 different scenes flashed at you in two
Mhm.
second intervals where you didn't know
Right, right.
anybody's names because the person
Mhm.
who edited it didn't care. You knew
Mhm.
who everyone was because you bought that VHS tape knowing they were on the cover.
Mhm. Yeah.
um, but if you want me to say what I think it's going to take for the industry to get back to that, I'm going to say this into the camera. I'm going to say this directly into the camera, and I know it's
Hold on,
probably
hold
going to
on,
ruin
hold
my
on, hold on, hold on. Let me big screen you. Let me big screen you.
okay. The thing it's going to take to bring that industry back is the complete dismantling of racism in the United States.
Oh shit. Ah! We
And
got a
hold on,
long road ahead of us, then.
I've got a entire theory because I think about this stuff. I think about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Porn is a funhouse mirror of the current cultural zeitgeist.
I agree.
It's that when we had like Behind the Green Door and we had like the first few interracial scenes, that was a hot button taboo topic at the time. And it helped foster some positivity. But again,
Mhm.
like as bad as the racism is in the industry now, as it stands, porn is the least racist it has ever been, as crazy as that is.
Explain that.
Remember, I worked at a porn shop. I got to see the DVD covers. I had to order the shit. Um, 10 years ago, there were slurs on covers. There were series named after slurs. It wasn't opposed to that.
Mm.
Be it wouldn't be strange or an anomaly if a white performer said a slur to a black performer in camera,
Yeah.
almost seen because it was interracial.
Mm-hmm. No, that's facts.
Um, for as much as people like to romanticize the early 2000s and 2010s, is that people were really loud and out about what they didn't like. And porn reflected that. Things are
Mhm.
softening now, like we have, and even as much as I do not personally prefer the entire like focus on race play, the fact that it's even a conversation is progress.
Okay.
The fact that I can voice an opinion on that and not just be told to shut up is progress. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, I will say that the entire Queen of Spades thing, the entire like Mandingo party thing, the entire tattoos and accoutrement and everything else used to be an edge fetish. It used to be around there with like fire play and like knife play and everything else. And it slowly got more land share. It used to be around there with like cuckoldry and those extreme fetishes. And then it took over pretty much all of cuckoldry.
Yeah. Oh,
Be able to see
absolutely.
cuckold porn without a interracial element being tossed in. And then it slowly took over gender play, sissies, femboys, all that other stuff. There's barely the time where you'll ever see a white femboy who is not deeply engulfed in that culture.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it started getting into, and then it made its way complete mainstream, where most of the interracial porn has an element of that to the point where there's an entire studio name based off of it.
Yeah.
And
I think coquetry kind of, and I love cucking. That's my shit. Oh, I love it. I think that got overshadowed by the hot wives. I
yeah,
think that movement kind of like, which was kind of the same thing in a sense, kind of moved it out because they just shot up, out of the blue. So I think that's
yeah.
what happened with that one. But yeah, I love cucking.
But I mean, like, housewives is just cuckoldry, but reversed. That's really is what it is. But
Yeah.
going back to it, the Queen of Spades thing, all that race play, have you noticed that it just venerates white women? Have you
I
noticed that
know it.
it's just worshiping white women with extra steps?
Yeah. 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 I know a
Like,
couple of them. It's because I I'm weird, right? I see people's social media personas, and I'm like, okay, I get it. We all are, you know, Superman to Clark Kent or Batman to
mhm.
Bruce Wayne, right? And then I know who a lot of these people are in person, and a lot of people. I hate to bust your bubble, but they don't act like that in real life.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's why most of them I am cool with because I know what it is. Um, but I do agree with you on a lot of things. It's like we are now having conversations that fuck, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have dared to have.
We wouldn't have had a voice to have the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you're right. It's, but I feel too, on the other side, I'm tired of us as Black people getting the little bit of wins and it's like, yes, we're here. And it's like, but we have so much more work to do. But I
Oh
understand
yeah.
you can't get to the top of the mountain if you're not at the summit. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have to make these steps to get there. So I get that. How has that played out for you as a trans performer?
Okay. Now the reason why it affects me and why I'm so passionate about it, because it affects me three ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a Black performer, which means that a lot of conversations about top trans porn performer aren't going to include me anyway. Just off rip, I'm not. People see Black women specifically, as more masculine. They see dark
Mm-hmm.
skinned trans women as more masculine than light skinned trans women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it comes to expectations, they expect Black trans women to top all the time, every time, have huge penises, be fully functional, huge cum loads, all that shit, because that's what they expect out of Black people, Black males specifically. They want that same performance with a set of tits, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But hormones make that hard. And my brain makes that hard. Because I'm not a dominant top. I can top. And once I showed the ability on screen that I could top and could finish a topping scene, for the longest time, that's all I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't allowed to be soft. I wasn't allowed to just toot up and take it. I wasn't allowed to show off my art skills. I was the top in the scene, especially if I was working with a white trans performer. So it affects me
Makes
three
sense.
ways. And because I didn't want to indulge in race play because I found it gross, it
Mm-hmm.
meant that there was a lot of scenes, a lot of performers, a lot of actresses I couldn't work with. And it affected my money a lot. Had I just loved that stuff and just fully let into it, I wouldn't be doing this right now.
You be in someone's mansion or some mansion somewhere.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. I feel in the industry as a whole, you you have to decide what's more important, you know?
mhm.
And some people, I've seen it, you've probably seen it, will sell their soul for the littlest of what we would might consider little money, right? Or even
Mhm.
big money. They still will
Yeah.
do it. Then you have those that are here for the art, the skills, the eroticism of it all, and then there's some here for survival reasons. There's so many different people in here for different reasons, and
It's a balance.
we are definitely in a weird spot, especially with all that's happening politically and worldwide. It's there's there's a soft war right now on sex workers and people of this industry, and it's going to lead from being soft to very hard, you know,
Yeah.
in the coming of time. So it's it's worrisome.
I did not think in my littlest of minds that I would be a whore in the end times. I didn't think that was going to be my role. I thought that I might be a freedom fighter. I might be a rebel. No, I didn't get a beret. I got a pair of panties. Okay.
But remember, you said it too. I mean, even the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000 porn people, it was all a rebellion or anarchist towards the system in one shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
we've left. I think too. I might be wrong. Someone, put it in the comments for me. But I feel like it was also more community back then as well,
Yeah.
versus it's more independent and more self now.
Is that I would say that the amount of performers out there has ballooned to nearly unsustainable levels because of the rise of digital media, because everyone has a site. There were like
Mhm.
maybe 20, 30 studios back in the DVD era. If everyone came through them, you did your casting couch, you did your scenes, you did your scene with this person, this person, this person, this person, you were a star.
Mhm.
Um, like not too long ago, within recent memory, like Hustler was doing $1 million movies for porn.
Mhm.
Avatar was $1 million movie. It had 3D, full body paint, multiple scenes, humor, comedy. The Ghostbusters porn parody had 3D glasses as well. Pirates, which a lot of people remember, had CGI.
Mhm. Early.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
a tie-in promotion with porn toys and everything else. Like it was a completely different game.
Yeah.
Like, there's like maybe one or two studios now that are even just doing practical effects. A lot of studios don't even do your makeup for you.
Not anymore, because it started to be too. You brought it up earlier. ROIs. We could invest all this money in it, or we could just have this other studio shoot whatever they were going to shoot anyway, and just buy it from them and slap our label on it and put it out and call it a day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, times are. Listen, I had an influx of people from my fetish site hit me up yesterday, and it was super overwhelming. And also, the stuff people were saying, I was like, it made me realize how much of this industry has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how much of it is just it's going to be hard to get back what some of us might feel is like the golden age, or how it was. Those times are gone. I
Yeah,
was even saying how, I remember if a camera person pulled out their phone, or a producer pulled out their phone to shoot some content, people were like, what are you doing? Taking pictures? You about to take some BTS or what? Like, because you
yeah.
ain't shooting my shit on that. To
Mm-hmm.
where now, if you bring out an actual camera, people look at you like you got a couple dicks growing out your forehead. They'd be like, oh, you're serious. Like, why you brought that out? We got our phone on these rigs and we could just shoot everything we have here. Times are different now.
Yeah.
Times are definitely different. I'm about to cry slowly. So what would be some goals of yours for 2026, since we're in it now? And I know you said you're going to the T Awards. Like, what would you want Anna Andrews, if someone was to say, "Yo, hey, Anna Andrews," what would you want them to say?
Oh, like, are you talking about like goals, milestones, or like what?
All that, just yeah.
It's that the goal that's been a running goal since like 2019 is to make this my job. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. I've hit a lot of milestones I never thought I'd reach.
Mhm.
I'm kind of like the coyote who caught the roadrunner. Um, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Because I have the award, I've got the DVD,
Mhm.
I've got the fleshlight. Like
Mhm.
I've done the things.
Mhm.
Has that made me hideously wealthy? Absolutely not. I still get a tax return. Um, um, I would like to do more scenes. I would like to have the freedom to do what I want and do it as much of it as I would like. because like there have been times, like there was a time where I didn't have a job and like it was kind of rough, and I was like, okay, I'm finally going to get a chance to become the porn star I've always wanted, and I couldn't do it because I wasn't making enough money. I hadn't scaled up to prepare for that, so it was scrambling. I barely had enough
Mhm.
money to make a trip out to Vegas. I made a trip out to Vegas, and like pretty much all of my scenes fell apart while I was there. Like I took home maybe $300 from like 9 days of shooting. Yeah, because like another thing they don't tell you about, trans porn makes less money in general. Like the take home pay for us, unless you're one of those big name stars, you're not making a lot. Um, Not to put too fine a point on it, but like some of the studios are paying like $400 and $500 for a scene.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Um, one a stack for like a hardcore, yeah, but that's a hardcore. We're
Mhm.
bringing home a little bit more than even if we're doing a solo, just one solo, and that's after. Now, mind you, don't do talent testing. Right? You don't do a pass test for that, but like that's $1,000 for a hardcore minus talent testing, which is now, if you're going to an official TTS site, $230.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's not hair, that's not nails, that's not outfits, that's not lingerie, that's not travel time, that's not gas. So now if you start counting it in dicks, you realize you have a lot of dicks to get through to make it even on that test.
Sounded so funny. I I count up the, you know what I mean? No, I that's I don't know if that's what this season's going to be about, telling the real or telling the honest part about this industry, but so many people are flooding into this industry thinking this is the next, you know, oil strike or whatever. They just think it's just so lucrative on this side. And I mean,
Mhm.
can it be? Yeah, it can be. But for the vast majority of people, it's not. Because, like you said, before you even hit green, you're so far into the negative sometimes that you're like, all right, if I need to hit all five of these scenes to make it over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if two or three of those cancel, you're already there. You have to try to make something shake and figure some
Mhm.
shit out.
And two things. Number one, all the organizations that say they're pro porn, like your coalitions and your groups or whatever, they will never have my vote of confidence until they start campaigning for lower testing prices. As long as testing is expensive, it's going to keep people that need to do the work to survive out.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
going to make this a hobby for middle class people or people with
mhm,
some sort of connection. And it's
mhm.
going to make people do more sex acts on the least amount of tests they can get away with, which destroys the point of the test.
No facts. I've heard people be like, "Yeah, I gotta get 20 seeds." I was like, "On one test?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like,
Exactly. And again, just for the people at home, that's 2 weeks. That is 20 sex acts in 2 weeks.
"Yeah, yeah." Um, yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. Or TTS should take insurance and all the things. I have one last question before we get off of here.
Mhm.
This one's a little doozy. All right.
Okay.
I'll start with the backstory, then I ask you a question. One day I was at
Okay.
Chicago Exotica and I got approached by a trans woman. And she was like, "Hey, heck, we gotta shoot." And I'm like, that's cool, but I don't have a platform for trans performers, right? Because I just don't shoot that. And they're like, "But you need to make one." And I'm like, I mean, that sounds great, but that's just not my lane. And this was many, many moons ago. And I was like, just that's not my lane. There's a cis female there too. And this trans performer was just adamant about me working with them. And I was just like, nah, I'm sorry, like, you cool. I fucks with you. I just don't have that. That's just not one of the series that I'm doing. So my question to you is, do you approach cis males to work with them? And if so, what would you say is the proper method, or how do you go about doing it?
Okay. Well, to answer that question, it's probably going to run out of time. I'm already out of time.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Like, okay. Let me give you some backstory to my answer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've been doing this for 6, 7 years now. Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
So the industry was different then. Industry is different now. The way we talk to people on Twitter is different than the way we talk to people now. Is that I have kept my approach pretty much the same because it's very even keeled. I check their profile first. I see if they have any work with trans performers on their profile, and then I'll make my ask, or I'll see if they follow me or if they like my stuff. But mind you, the response is so mixed and it's so weird because there are people that will like my content. There are people that will bookmark my content that are bigger names in the cis world, but they will never work with me. There are tons of pro-black, black power this, black that, all black, that will never touch gay performances, trans performances, any of that. They'll do lesbian all day. They love lesbian, but they'll never touch trans or gay stuff, even though it's money on the table. To say, oh, I don't want it to mix with my content. I don't want people to think. I don't want people to. It's money. It's money. And I'm not saying that you personally have to work with them, but having that and having a platform for that is something as simple as just making another category on your site and putting it up and see if it makes money. One of the reasons why trans porn makes so little money, but trans porn makes so many clicks on Pornhub, is because people don't want the stigma of buying a trans membership. They don't want a purely trans membership where if it shows up on a CC bill or on a credit card statement, they're out.
Right.
It's when people get outed that, honestly, and I'm not being too super weird about it, we get killed. It's not so much about their attraction or their revulsion, it's people finding out the stigma around it, you know? And all you got to do is just remove that stigma, give them that plausible deniability, and they're down to clown. Brazzers has a trans scene up, and they are certainly not a trans studio. Adult Time has multiple studios that have started doing trans content, and they don't make a big to-do about it. We do because it's a big win for us personally. But like, Leilani Lee has been on a Brazzer site. Brittany Cade has been on, I believe, a straight site as well. The people that don't like it aren't really going to say anything. You might get a few unsubscribes in anger over it because they're so caught up in the culture war, but usually they're going to come back. Before I did the porn thing, I worked at Netflix, and people would get angry about this comedy special or this show or this statement made on this, and they would deactivate a month, give it 2 maybe, and then they're going to come back because you have a good product. I'm never going to force anybody to work with me because I don't want to be forced to work with someone in particular. But sometimes it's just as easy as just, hold on, let's quote James Brown here. Don't open any, don't bring me to any room, just open the door and let me walk through myself. There is an audience. There are thousands of Black trans performers. Thousands. Most of them are making some sort of click, some sort of view, some sort of money. Like even me and I am considered a mainstream porn performer, and I'm still small potatoes in comparison. I have 60,000 followers. I don't know what my camera's doing. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's actually adding some depth to what you're saying. So keep going.
Yeah, it's that I've got 60,000 followers, and as you know on Twitter, they are banning bots and removing people and suspending people constantly. So having a consistent 60K is a lot of people. That is a stadium. full of people that at least enjoy my content. Maybe you don't always convert them over to paid paid subscribers, but that means there's an audience. And again, I'm a relatively small star. There are stars I know. Heck, my wife has twice the amount of followers I have, and she's been retired for 3 years now. And she still has that following. She still has people. I still find videos of her, like remixed or chopped and screwed, out there, and I send them to her when I get them. There's an audience, and sometimes just putting that out there and seeing if it works for you is all you need. And for the performer, the trans performer, the social proof of you having a scene that on your platform, it's going to bring more work. It's going to bring more money. It's going to bring more things. People aren't going to get upset with you because you have one scene on your site. And I mean, if we're going to be really real about it, if you're watching porn, you're looking at dicks anyway.
They're probably watching more so than anything else. It's different
like,
now. Yeah.
If you've noticed, there's no small dicks in porn unless the focus is on the person having a small dick. They like big dicks because it looks better. It's watching someone else fuck. Like it inherently, like if we're really going to get into the psychology of it, it's a little
No, it's questionable at times.
Yeah. And then when you see how the sausage gets made, like, yeah.
Oh, that was year one of me. I was like, what? Show me the cheat code. I was like, bet. Okay. Yeah, it's wild out here. But I'm definitely, because we didn't even get through most of the questions I've had for you, honestly, right? It's called Whatever by Hektek because I have shit that I might want to ask, but depending on the conversation, it could just go and do its own thing, and that's what I like. So I'm definitely want to have you back on again.
Okay.
It's very enlightful. Definitely very enlightful, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. So, right now, this is your time to tell the masses who you are and where they can find you and all that.
Okay. I put it in my little doodly doo down there, but my name is Anna Andrews. I'm a trans porn performer. You can find me mostly on Groovy or on Twitter. I'm Real Anna Andrews. RealAnnaAndrews.live. But yeah, you can search for either Anna Andrews or Raven Mystique on pretty much anything, and you'll come up with my name. If you want, please buy my fleshlight. Can I show the inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is the wildest thing. I have my butthole. And it's so crazy. It has my name on it.
Okay.
I never thought that I used to sell these things. It's so weird. But yeah, if you want to fuck me, don't think you're ever going to be in the room to do so. Now's your chance. There's a link on my bio. And I mean, there's a low barrier to entry for that, if I'm being honest, but like, most people don't live in my state.
Okay.
But yeah, RealAnnaAndrews.live, Anna Andrews on any platform, Raven Mystique for my super early stuff. I've done tons of collabs. I've worked with many amazing performers. I've done Groovy. I've done Trans Angels. I've done Trans Roommates, T-Girls Hookup, and done many collabs with other performers on many vids or wherever they have those scenes as well. I've done Trans Glamorous, Femtop. I have stuff all over. Just look for me.
Okay. That's dope. All right. So now it's my turn.
Okay.
All right. So we're here in season 4. Whatever by Hektek. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Y'all know I just play shit by ear and I just do what I want. So with that being said, I rebranded. I'm no longer Hectic Desires. I'm now Hectic Visuals, as you can see down there. So go to hecticvisuals.com if you want to book me for photo shoots or video sessions. I'm also started virtual videography classes, Video 101 and Videography 102. I've also started my mentorship program. So if you want to learn about camera work and what camera you should buy and get some mentorship, go ahead and hit me up. Everything as far as the classes and the mentorship, go to contact at hecticvisuals.com. That's contact at hecticvisuals.com and send me a email and we'll get you started on that. Whatever by Hectic is on the HD Nation Network, as you know, on YouTube. So go on that and you'll see all the new episodes as well as all the old episodes as well, still on there. Who knows? I might move platforms soon. I don't know yet. It just wherever the money goes, that's where I'll go. With that, stay close to those that are close to you. Stay loyal to those that are loyal to you. And don't do anything that you don't want to do. And with that, we are out of here.
Bye.
Peace.